Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Um, so this look that I'm going to be doing today is basically like a updated soft glam routine that I've been doing as of lately. Before we jump into the video, I'm cleaning off her skin. Go ahead and subscribe and share this video with your friends. And like this video as well. So I'm cleaning her face off with some micellar water, and I do this step for every single one of my clients. She has naturally full fluffy brows that I absolutely love. So usually when I get someone who has brows like this, like you really don't have to do much. I prefer not to do much because unless it's like they ask for it, But most of the time, they really just love their brows, like in its natural state. Like they don't want them too dark, they don't want them too harsh. So I love that. So I'm using my favorite pencil, Benefit Precisely My Brow in number 4. And I'm just basically lining her brows just slightly and doing like some hair-like strokes, just like through there and through the front, and like filling in any like little spaces. And you can do this with a pencil, with a pomade. They definitely would have been like a little more darker and harsher. So I'm gonna go in with the Too Faced concealer in Honey. I think I added in a little tad like dot of the maple because of her undertone. You guys know that I don't like a really harsh, underlined sculpted brow. I don't do the, stock white. So I try to, just tone it down as much as possible. So the maple kind of did that for me, just added in a little of the orange tones that I am seeing in her skin. I do see some yellow, I see some pink, and then I see some orange undertones. And I have like changed my routine up a bit. Um, you're gonna see it in a second, but I'm taking a bronzing cream color that I use by Makeup Revolution, I think. And basically what I'm doing right here is just giving myself an outline for the nose contour. I do this step so that I started off flowing into the brows, because to me that's what makes it look natural. So I hope that's making sense. I just placed some of the same concealer, the Honey, on her lids, and what I'm doing is taking the some serum by Fresh, and I'm basically just prepping her skin for the foundation, because the foundation that I'm going to be using is it's kind of luminous, but it's also the foundation that I'm using, again, my recorder went off. It is the ABH foundation, and I've come to know, and just from using it, that it's better to prep your skin with a moisturizer before using that foundation. So that's why I chose the Fresh serum before applying it. So I just blended out her eyelid, and now I'm setting it with the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to be going in with the foundation that we were just talking about. So the foundation shade that I used on her was 365, and remember in the beginning when I was telling you guys that I see yellow, I see pink, and I see a little bit of orange in her undertone. and it's mostly around the perimeter of the face, like the outside. So I do that a lot when I'm doing my clients. Like sometimes I mix. So in this case, I placed the 365 with the yellow and pink undertones in the center of her face. And I took the other foundation, it was Makeup Revolution F13, and I just put like a couple of dots around her face, like the outside of her face, just so you know it can all mesh together. It makes sense to me, and it actually is a good technique and it works as long as you understand undertones when mixing foundation. So I'm taking this Makeup Revolution brush, and ever since I found this brush, like I have not turned away from it. Like I have so many foundation brushes, but I always reach for this one because it's just so flat. I don't know. I love the way it applies foundation. So this is the same concealer that I used on the eyelid. This is Honey, and I probably mixed in just a dot of the Too Faced um, concealer in Sand as well, because Sand has a little of a neutral undertone, while Honey has it's kind of yellow and cool in a way. But I just needed the Sand and the Honey to like balance each other out. So the same cream contour stick that I used on her in the beginning, I'm basically going in and reinforcing that. And you see it is a little darker, a little redder. So what I'm going to do is go in with a more cool tone foundation stick that I use for cream contour and kind of like calm that down with that. So with makeup, you're just going to be doing like a lot of mixing. Like if you have to mix, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing to know how to mix colors, you know. So I'm just going to blend everything together very seamlessly. I'm still using the e.l.f. sponge, the camo sponge. Absolutely love this sponge. Make sure that you make sure the sponge is damped, and make sure that you get as much of the water out of it as possible, because when I first started applying this Laura Mercier powder to set her under eye and every part of the center of her face, it went on a little patchy, and I noticed it does that when the sponge is a little too wet. So just watch out for that. Make sure you wring all of the water out of the sponge, but it still needs to be damp. It doesn't need to be dry. So I'm taking the bronzer in Island Ting, and I'm just gonna do like add a little bit of color back to her face, and it's more so of me just setting the the cream contour spots that I placed down. And I'm doing the same thing for the nose. I'm taking that same bronzer and setting that spot on her nose. So there I was just fitting the eyelash to her eye to start off the eyeshadow. So if y'all paying attention, you remember I used to do the eyes first and then the face. But now your girl tried a new thing, and like I cannot stop like going back and forth. It's something, I don't know, like I'm so happy because I used to be so afraid of going back and forth because like you just get stuck in your technique. But I just tried it one day and I was like, okay, and then I felt like I was going a little faster too, so that's always a good thing. So I used that shade in the Juvias Place palette. I think that's the chocolate bar palette, the chocolate palette, and the shade was called Yo Bit, I think. And I'm only using like 2 to 3 shades, but I'm using the same palette. So I'm taking the sand concealer and placing that on her lid, and I made her look up so that I could see where the concealer kind of like falls when she looks up. So I'm just blending that concealer out, and then I'm gonna go in with the bottom left 2 shades out of that same palette, and I'm gonna place those colors on her lid. It's gonna be like a little quick clip of the colors, but it's that same palette, bottom 2 left colors. I just mix them together. And this is just one of the soft glam like updated looks I've been doing. I have, I think, one more that I'm gonna, post and get up for you guys. And if y'all have any suggestions on things that y'all want to see, let me know. I plan on revamping my channel, like not necessarily taking away the client tutorials, but just doing things a little different, because sometimes things can get repetitive. I'm taking the Sephora Micro Smoothing Powder and going over the Laura Mercier powder, like basically doing a double set. And ever since I started doing this, oh my god, like I love the way this looks. And I got this technique from a makeup artist in Houston. She sets with the MAC powder. I don't like the MAC powder, but maybe I'll try it again one day. So I went and lined her lips with KKW number 2, and then I'm taking number 3 and going over like her Cupid's bow area with number 3 to like define it a little more. And I'm taking I think that's NYX Butter Gloss and Maybelline and Creme Brulee, and then I placed a clear gloss on top. And you guys, that completes this look. It's pretty easy. I'm bronzing her up a little more and adding a little like highlight with that fluffy brush, but that completes the look, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe and leave your suggestions and things, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.